folks? Welcome to King and Kush TV. We're going to address a myth today. We're going to address THC percentages, both why testing facilities have a motivation to cheat the system and why growers have an incentive, because you, voting with your dollar, are buying these strains that are listing ridiculous THC results that, quite frankly, are a fallacy. So in the Washington market, you've got, it's the primary thing. You walk into the store, they list the price, the next thing that's listed is the THC percentage, and it's really not as relevant as you're led to believe it is. It's the one thing you can use as a barometer when you go in to try and look at the cannabis, because you can no longer smell it and you don't get to take it out of a jar and see it right there in the shop. So you're forced to make kind of an arbitrary decision based on branding and packaging. It's a lot like everything else in life. But that THC number is what throws you off, because you can essentially take this plant, put it in the oven at 300 degrees for 30 minutes, and you'll vaporize a lot of the essential oils out, but you won't touch the THC or the CBD. Those two are not affected till well into the 320, 330 heat range, so they will stay unaffected. And you smoke that cannabis, even something like this Blue Dream that tests out at 19%. It's still going to be 19% THC, and the CBD profile is going to be the same. You'll smoke it and you won't have the same effect as if I were to smoke it before it went into the oven. And the reason for that is there is a ton of cannabinoids and essential oils and terpenes in this plant that have a very specific reaction to my body chemistry, and the receptors in my body, it's a different dance for everybody. So what is one person's favorite is the next person's least favorite. But something that's 26% THC and lacks virtually everything else, low in myrcene, which helps break the blood-brain barrier, isn't going to do much for you. So although these THC numbers are fascinating to see, these 27 and 30% and 32% in some cases, it's just not accurate. So the sooner you start trying products and worrying less about the THC number and more about the actual effect it has on you based on your body composition, what you've eaten that day, how you feel, what your general mood is, all of those things play a bigger role in how cannabis reacts in your system, more so than the THC number ever will. And so to that point, why do we get this number? Why is it so ridiculously inflated? Last year we grew a really great crop, and our Afghan skunk came back at 27% THC or 26.8, something ridiculous. And that was the one plant that I didn't really like from a strain perspective. It just didn't, it was fluffy, it didn't look right. It's outsold some of our most attractive product. We had our Purple Arrow came back with a nice profile of 18%. It was some of the most beautiful cannabis, smell, look, everything was there, world-class product. And the Afghan skunk sold 5-to-1 and at almost twice the price. And the whole thing is ridiculous. It was solely based on a THC percentage that meant very little to me. Then you've got testing facilities who get to use kind of their own algorithm as to how do they get to the THC profile, and there's a built-in motivation. If I send it to one person and it comes back at 19%, I send it to somebody else at 26%, I'm going to send it down the street because the consumer's going to buy it. And it's really, really frustrating for a grower, go out and consult some of these large-scale, beautiful production facilities that are kicking out phenomenal product, and at the end of the day, they're making decisions solely based on a THC number and using the testing facility that tends to come back with the highest results. So I removed packaging from everything that I had today. I'm not going to name test facilities that are doing this because they all have a motivation to do it. But I want to kind of steer the consumer back to the understanding that, something that's 14, 15% THC is not necessarily a bad product. And you'll find with a lot of these profiles, think of it like a teeter-totter. In order to get a good quality amount of CBD and some of the other essential oils that you're going to want in your cannabis, think of it like a teeter-totter. You're going to have to give up a little bit of that THC for those profiles that come up. And then lastly, the portion of the plant that's tested will give you wildly different results. So if we snip the top and send that in, it's going to come back at 23% THC with a very low CBD number. As we move down the plant, that teeter-totter kind of tends to shift, and we start to see higher concentrations of CBD in lower portions of the plant and a lower THC number. And until somebody realizes that that number is, if I've got 5 pounds and I'm testing the one cola for my number one plant and I green clean that up, I can inflate that number pretty dramatically. So, start consuming cannabis based on your reaction to it and your body's reaction. Find a brand you like and trust and stay with that brand. I'm not even going to plug my own brands and services that I provide, because I want you to go out and find something that works for you.